No, Nnamdi Kanu has not been released from Sokoto Prison. The headline claiming that he has been freed and is the only solution for the Southeast in 2027 is completely false and misleading. Right now, as we speak in 2026, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra remains securely in custody at the Sokoto Correctional Center. To understand what is truly happening, we have to look at the undeniable facts of his current situation and ignore the loud, confusing rumors designed just to get clicks on the internet. In late November 2025, after a very long and highly publicized trial, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja delivered a historic judgment. The court found Nnamdi Kanu guilty of serious charges related to national security and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Immediately following this heavy sentence, the judge directed that he should not be kept at the Kuje facility in Abuja, citing his behavior during the trial and the need for a highly secure environment. Within 24 hours of that ruling, the Department of State Services quietly moved him hundreds of miles away from the capital city to a prison facility in Sokoto State. This sudden transfer shocked his legal team, his family, and his millions of supporters because it placed him very far away from the people trying to help him fight his legal battles. His former lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, openly complained that moving him all the way to the northwest made it incredibly difficult for his legal team to visit him, prepare for his appeal, and offer him the support he needs to navigate the complex justice system. Because of this difficult situation, Nnamdi Kanu's legal team immediately went to work to try and bring him back closer to Abuja. They filed a special request in court asking the judge to move him to a prison in Suleja or Kefi. These towns are very close to the Federal Capital Territory, which would make it much easier for his lawyers to sit down with him and plan how to challenge his life sentence at the Court of Appeal. However, on January 27, 2026, this plan completely fell apart in a very dramatic way right inside the courtroom. The lawyer who was representing him from the Legal Aid Council, a man named Demdu Hassan, stood up before Justice James Omotosho and asked for permission to drop the case and stop representing Nnamdi Kanu. The lawyer explained to the judge that he was facing impossible differences with his client. He told the court that he had been trying to get Nnamdi Kanu's relatives to come to the office to sign important legal documents, but despite many phone calls and promises, nobody ever showed up. Even worse, the lawyer revealed that his client was trying to force him to read from a script. The lawyer said that his client wanted to write down exactly what the lawyer should say in court, word for word. As a professional officer of the court, he felt he could not accept this kind of control, as it goes against standard legal practice. After speaking with his bosses at the Legal Aid Council, they all agreed it was best to walk away from the case. The judge praised the lawyer for protecting the respect and dignity of the court, allowed him to withdraw, and then threw out the entire request to move Nnamdi Kanu from Sokoto. The judge noted that the legal paperwork was flawed and that the government lawyers had not even been properly served with the documents. This major setback means that for the foreseeable future, Nnamdi Kanu is firmly staying in Sokoto while his legal team tries to figure out their next steps for his massive 22-ground appeal. While all of this real legal drama is happening, the internet has been flooded with completely made-up stories. Just last month in February 2026, a massive rumor spread like wildfire across Facebook and YouTube. The fake news claimed that President Bola Tinubu secretly traveled to Sokoto to meet Nnamdi Kanu in prison. According to this fabricated story, the president allegedly offered Nnamdi Kanu freedom and a massive sum of 100 billion naira to drop his agitations, but Kanu supposedly rejected the money and the meeting entirely, demanding a referendum instead. Fact-checkers, including Africa Check, quickly investigated this story and found absolutely no truth to it. There is no record of the president visiting Sokoto in February for a secret prison meeting. The president's movements are always public, and his recent trips were to places like Adamawa and Kebbi, not a secret prison visit in Sokoto. Furthermore, there is zero evidence that the federal government offered him any money. These wild stories are created simply because people know the public is desperate for news about him. Creators make up these sensational headlines, just like the one claiming he was released, simply to play on the emotions of the people in the Southeast and make money from views. They use capital letters, exclamation marks, and shocking claims to trick the algorithm and trick you. This is why it is so important to always verify the information you consume and not let catchy titles manipulate your feelings or your understanding of reality. When people share these fake stories, it only causes more confusion and false hope among the masses who genuinely care about the outcome of this case. It is a dangerous game of deception. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the truth and you want to always stay updated with factual, verified information without all the fake news noise, please take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to the channel right now. Your support helps us continue to dig through the rumors and bring you the honest, streamlined gist of what is really happening in our country. Now, moving beyond the courtrooms and the fake internet stories, there is a very real, deep conversation happening across the country about how to handle this entire situation moving forward. This brings us to a related talk about the political and social impact of his imprisonment, which is something we all need to engage with. Many leaders in the Southeast strongly believe that keeping Nnamdi Kanu locked away in Sokoto for the rest of his life is not going to bring peace to the region. Just a few weeks ago, on February 17, 2026, there was a very public and emotional moment during a national health summit in Abuja. The traditional ruler of Izema Olo Kingdom in Enugu State, Igwe Lawrence Agbuzu, stood up while President Bola Tinubu was in the room and directly begged the president to release the IPOB leader. The royal father spoke from the heart, explaining the deep pain and frustration felt by the people, especially the young people in the Southeast. He told the president that traditional rulers are losing respect and are even in danger of being attacked by angry young people who view the elders as sellouts for not doing enough to secure Kanu's freedom. The monarch told the president that the ball is in his court, suggesting that if the country doesn't want him, they should send him back to Kenya or London where he came from. He made it clear that true progress and peace in the region are impossible without addressing this deep wound. Although the president smiled and clapped for the monarch's speech, he did not make any promises, but the moment highlighted just how critical this issue remains for national unity. Every time there is tension surrounding his case, the Southeast suffers from fear, business closures, and security challenges. We all remember the painful history of the sit-at-home orders that started after his arrest and returned from Kenya back in 2021. For years, businesses, schools, and markets were forced to close on Mondays and on any day he was scheduled to appear in court. Even though his own legal team eventually tried to cancel these orders, the damage to the local economy was massive, and splinter groups continued to enforce the lockdowns, causing immense hardship for ordinary citizens trying to feed their families and live normal lives. Because of this heavy burden on the people, major political figures have also been pushing for what they call a political solution. Governors like Otti of Abia State have publicly stated that the problem was poorly managed from the very beginning, allowing it to grow into a massive crisis that affects the economy and safety of millions. These leaders are asking the federal government to look past the strict legal convictions and consider dialogue and diplomacy. They argue that a political pardon or a negotiated release would do more to calm the waters and restore normalcy than keeping him in a maximum security facility far away from home. However, the government has shown no signs of changing its mind. The court gave a life sentence based on very severe charges of national security threats, and reversing that through politics is a very complicated and sensitive matter for the current administration. The government has to balance the demands for peace in the Southeast with the need to uphold the law and show that actions against the state have consequences. This makes the situation incredibly delicate and difficult to resolve quickly. So, when you see a headline screaming that he has been released and is the only solution for 2027, you have to understand the game being played. The year 2027 is the next general election year in Nigeria. By tying his supposed release to the upcoming elections, the creators of that fake news are trying to stir up political excitement and confusion. They want people to believe there is a grand political master plan unfolding right now. The reality is much slower and much more serious. Nnamdi Kanu is currently focused focused on a massive legal battle at the Court of Appeal. His lawyers have filed a 22-ground appeal trying to overturn the life sentence, pointing out what they believe are serious errors made by the trial judge. They are arguing that he did not get a fair hearing and that the evidence was not handled properly. Until the Court of Appeal, and likely the Supreme Court after that, makes a final decision, his home remains the Sokoto Prison. There are no secret backdoor releases happening, and there are no magical billion-naira deals being struck in the shadows. We have to separate our wishes, our fears, and our political hopes from the hard facts on the ground. The reality of 2026 is that the legal system is taking its course, the political leaders are trying to negotiate openly, and the people are waiting anxiously. It is a story of legal struggles, political tension, and the fight for peace. But it is certainly not a story of a sudden secret prison release. The justice system moves at its own pace, and appeals of this magnitude can take months or even years to be fully heard and resolved by the highest courts in the land.